Welcome back, friends and loved ones, to another episode of Justice League Revisited. I am one half of the dynamic duo leading you on this adventure. My name's James Enstall, host of Geek to Me Radio. On the other side of the Zoom screen from me is my wonderful co-host, the voice of Wonder Woman herself, Susan Eisenberg. How are you?
I'm well. How are you? Well, first of all, loved ones. I mean, this isn't a family reunion.
Oh, no, I got people asking for hugs now. I mean, it's crazy.
Have you gotten a lot of reception when you go out into the world that people know the podcast and are listening?
People no longer scoffing at me publicly, so that's kind of helped. It's kind of elevated my status there. No one spits on me anymore, so it's kind of done wonders.
Things they're not throwing anything at you.
Well,
all right, good.
Not rotted fruit anymore. I actually caught a fresh avocado there, and I'm like, hey, that's not bad. I can take this home. So it's all good.
So you're geeky and athletic. Wow.
I know. You have no idea. It just comes from the reflexes needing to constantly catch things that are being thrown at me more than anything else.
Well done, you. So big show today. Big show.
Yes, I'm so excited to talk about Hearts and Minds. For those of you who are keeping track at home, pull out your Justice League scorecards. This is the 17th story overall since the launch of the series. Episodes 35 and 36 in the grand scheme of things. In season 2, it is episodes 9 and 10. This particular two-parter, and now that we're in season 2, they dropped as one episode, even though there was a break in between. It debuted on October the 25th of 2003, written by Keith Dameron, directed by Butch Lukic, and featuring the first DC animated appearance of Desparo, who is a big bad in the DC Comics realm. So I'm excited to talk to our guest today, Phil LaMarr.
This is when we put in the applause button, right?
Yes.
Oh, wait, we still don't have it. We don't have the
budget constraints, Susan. Budget constraints. You know how much applause buttons cost in this economy?
We have a budget.
Yes. It's exactly $5. I think that's what I had. That's why I currently have on my person. So
I may have 5 too. Woohoo!
All right. 2 applause.
All right.
buttons.
So Phil, we put out the call. This is it was like a little Justice League action here. Do you want to tell when did you reach out to Phil?
I reached out to him. I think was it Saturday, Sunday?
Yeah.
And it's currently Monday.
So.
But
yeah,
I'm just, I've got a bunch of stuff going on. I'm not making excuses, but we recorded the episode with Stan Berkowitz for A Better World.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, I'm going to start editing that one because that has to drop this coming Tuesday, the day after Labor Day. I look, I'm like, Hearts and Minds comes in between Maid of Honor and A Better World. We have not recorded Hearts and Minds. So as a Hail Mary, I text Phil LaMarr. I said, hey, we're in a bit of a jam. We need to record this. When would you be available? He's like, I can do Monday. It's like, oh my gosh. So lifesaver, a true Green Lantern and superhero, Phil LaMarr, coming here to rescue Susan and I.
So fantastic. And it's a holiday weekend. I mean, total sweetheart to do this. And I couldn't be happier. So you want to get to it?
Yeah, let's get to it. Without further ado, here he is, the Emerald Gladiator himself. Phil LaMarr joins us for Hearts and Minds. Phil, thanks for doing this on a Labor Day Monday.
Thank you for getting us back to the second Lantern Corps episode.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I'm embarrassed to say I've never seen it because, all right, shamelessly, I'm not in it. So I and then time goes by and you don't catch up on these things. And none of us were in it. The Trinity is not there. But oh my God, I loved this episode so much. I mean, it had that awesome opening and then it has a lot of romance, which James,
right.
Probably better than Phil. I'm in it for the romance. So I was glued to this episode. Loved it.
That soap opera-esque aspect that you love about it so much.
Totally. And I love this stuff. And it's really, don't you think it's your episode, Phil? Like on so many, I mean, there are wonderful actors in it and we'll get to those people, but it just was so good for you, for your character. I just loved Green Lantern in this episode.
Well, for me, it was interesting because it was the most comic book related episode, but yeah, for me, it's always the thing about the group of actors that they bring back for all of the Green Lantern focused episodes, which which is always ironic for me that Dennis Haysbert
I know.
plays a lantern.
Yep.
'Cause I think I've told you guys that story, that when I went to audition, I was auditioning right after Dennis Haysbert. And it was ironic because he looks like the real life version of John.
He does. He totally does. Yeah.
I'd say just from his acting or his live camera, he is probably one of my top 5 favorite actors to ever play a U.S. president, because he's got that demeanor. Him, Harrison Ford, obviously in Air Force One, and there's just those certain people who those presidential roles, and Dennis Haysbert fit that to a T. I'm like, I wish he was president. That'd be fantastic.
God, he was so good. But I did remember the story where you were like, oh, geez. I mean, he's the real guy. I'm not going to be able to compete with this guy. And, I just love that. And then here he is.
When I went in for my audition right after, I'm like, well, let me do my version of Dennis Haysbert.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And then Keith David. Oof.
Yeah.
Oof. So good. I mean, so just it's interesting because as a voiceover actor and as somebody who appreciates voiceover acting, you hear so many people who have wonderful sounding voices and it's melodic or whatever. He's such a standout. I mean, obviously, right? He's a star, but he's so damn good in this. It was so, I was so affected by his performance in this.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. He's a great actor, but he's also such a wonderful. I mean, basically, he's the voice actor version of a supermodel.
That's well put.
There's some movie stars who are like, oh, they're so beautiful.
Right.
Like when he was the voice of BMW, it's like, yeah, his voice sounds as expensive as those cars.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, so good. And I mean, well, James, do you want to talk about the guest list on the show, or?
Yeah, as always, I mean, the guest list is extraordinary. We've got, obviously we said Keith David as Desparo. We've got Carlos Ferro as Radoko. We've got Pepe Cerna as Shiflet. We've got Kim, my guest, if I could read my own handwriting, as Kat Matui. The aforementioned Dennis Haysbert as Kilowog, and Renee Auberjonois back as Gallius Zed. And I forgot they killed off 2 lanterns at the beginning of this. I forgot about that till I'm watching. I'm like, oh my gosh, they just killed off Renee.
Oh, yeah, that was sad. That was sad because they were so lovable in that short amount of screen time, which is like, well done, because I was attached to them and then they were gone.
And this is the first time we've seen them since we kind of disliked them after the whole trial thing where John was on trial. This is the first time we've seen these Green Lanterns. So to have them come back and then actually feel bad because we just lost them, again, well done. That whole opening segment, the battle was incredible. Storyboards and just wow.
Yeah. I mean, that was like the equivalent of opening a Batman-focused episode in the Batcave for 7 minutes.
Right.
Yep.
It's very much in the world of that character. Well, but also that they go into John's past in this episode. Well, and his romantic past.
I'll say, I mean, Kim May is sensational in this part. She's sensational. She's so good that, and this happens all the time when I'm watching the show. I hear the voice. I don't recognize the actor. So I immediately have to go find out who that is. And that's exactly what I did when I heard her. I just thought, wow, is she good? And she brings so much. She's so commanding and so feminine. And she and you, wow. I mean, it was so heated between the two of you. And it was dynamite. I thought it was great. Wait, so we did get a question on Twitter, which was actually kind of sweet and a little bit naive, but what did it ask, James?
Let me see if I can find that one. They wanted to know, and of course my Twitter screen that I had up a moment ago just went away. Stand by one moment as I find this question. Because we did put this out as we always try to do, that we're going to have, we're going to have Phil on, or we're going to have Maria, or we're going to have Dan Reba, and we get a lot of great questions. This one comes from our friends at DCAU Resource. did Phil get to do a chemistry read when they were casting Katma, or was it just day one, hey, Phil, this is Kim May. She's doing John's ex-girlfriend, and go. I think me having a little bit of knowledge about how the process works, there's no chemistry reads for voice actors like there are for live action people.
Right.
But obviously they picked well because you guys had some. I'm curious, when you're doing these, I know that all of you are present who are recording. Do they usually try to put the person you're interacting most with, like Phil, for you, it'd be Kim May in this case, across from you so you can see her? Do they in the booth next to you? How does that work spatially, or does it matter?
It's random. They don't, the engineer doesn't sit there looking through all the scenes in the script and say, who's talking to who? I imagine sometimes a director might, think about, let's put this guest near the people there so they can, especially if they're an on-camera person used to the physical interaction. But I don't remember where we all sat.
Okay.
I do remember, though, when I had scenes with Patrick Duffy, he was across from me. And I remember just being like, this is so surreal. I mean, I just loved Dallas. I loved him as Bobby Ewing. And then he's literally sitting across from me playing Steve Trevor on the Justice League. It was so weird and fabulous.
So he was in the
may have been something that Andrea thought about.
Yeah.
Oh, because she always did everything to help make our performances better.
Always.
Yeah. So you were in the booth across from Patrick, and I can hear Andrea going, okay, Susan, your side of the glass is getting steamy. If you could wipe that off before we go on.
Whatever. It's Patrick Duffy.
But to go back to Dennis for a minute, one of the things I noticed, Phil, because I remember that story about you doing the audition right after him, and I love that story. I was thinking he didn't sound like if I didn't know it was Dennis, I wouldn't have been sure it was, because he is a little higher in his register, and he's got a bit of a Kilowog accent going on. So again, fantastic choices made by him for that role. I loved it.
Yeah, isn't that funny that they wound up casting him as the Green Lantern even bigger than John Stewart? But he didn't do some big. He didn't.
Right.
Yes.
He just played Kilowog's personality.
Yeah.
Not his size.
Yeah. That's brilliant.
That's such a great quote. I love that quote. I may steal it. No, I won't steal it. I'll use it and give you credit. But that's great. That's so true. And that's so Andrea, because the one thing we were told to be vigilant about, she didn't want us to be cartoony. She didn't want it to sound like, they always say Super Friends, but that I have such respect for Super Friends because of Shannon Barnard, but they didn't want it to sound like that old-fashioned cartoon.
Right.
So, the things were grounded. The performances, I think, for Andrea was always to try to get us to just be grounded in reality, like Phil said.
Like you said about Kim, my guest's performance, the fact that she embodied the beautiful design of that character, but also the background. Katmatui was my mentor, my trainer. She had that sense of authority.
Yes.
As well as, you also believe that, okay, yeah, John did get attracted to her. Listen to that.
Right. And look at her. I mean, she's gorgeous. And I was so struck by how much is done on the show aside from the voiceover talent. In this episode, there were so many glances, so many looks given to each other, so many expressions on faces that had nothing to do with the voiceover actors. And hats off to, again, we say this every time we record, but the design department, the storyboard artists, I mean, really, it was just extraordinary in this episode. There was so much story that wasn't vocal in this.
Yeah.
In
every episode, but it really jumped out at me in this episode.
Well, there was so much battling. I mean,
yes.
It was a revolution.
Yeah.
Galactic revolution episode. And, you got John fighting, but at the same time, he needed Kilowog and John to be doing their, non-fighting battle against the power in order to win. So it wasn't just about like a video game where it's just punch,
Right,
punch,
right.
punch, punch, punch.
Right. And how long had it been since you had seen this episode, Phil? Or episodes?
All the way back in the old days.
So what was your takeaway when you were watching it for the first time after all this time?
Like I said, that it really rang into a lot of the comic stories. The
Yeah.
Glenn comic
Yeah.
stories. You know, the fact that they brought in Katma Tui and connected her to John. Although we hadn't, in this length of the storyline, hadn't gotten into the John and Shaira thing yet. Although you did have Hawkgirl noticing
Oh, very much so. I mean, from the onset.
his relationship with Katma Tui.
Oh my gosh, it was so fascinating. And as a woman watching it, I just thought you see Shaira in practically every shot watching the two of them, because no one is going to sense chemistry between two people like the woman who's interested in that man, or the woman, whichever. But it was like, I loved that. It was so subtle. And yet Shaira was always there. And she wasn't in your face about it. She just was like, stayed back, observed, wasn't happy with what she was seeing, but didn't, get in your face about it. And yeah, I thought it was just terrific. Maria she's always good, but she was terrific in this episode.
Well, and also just there are, 20-hour dramas that don't build relationships so emotionally and realistically like that. Like you began to see the connection between John and Shaira. And I realized, oh, wow. Well, looking back on it now, I think they were seeing this as setting up the foundation for the relationship that's going to be the heart of the Star-Crossed storyline.
Yep.
And although back then I didn't know, because they didn't tell us beforehand,
Right.
he's going to have a girlfriend in later series.
Right, but they did know, and they, unlike Wonder Bat, which they didn't have a plan for at all. It just happened, as was explained to us by Dan. It just happened organically. But with Shaira and John, they knew that was going to be a romance. Of course, that was slated.
I believe
Which again
Hawk
was not
Lantern
in
is
the comics.
Hawk Lantern is the official name of that ship, I believe.
No one's calling that. No one's
You
using
say Wonder
that.
Bat, it's the same thing. Hawk Lantern. It's fine.
I've never seen Hawk Lantern. Never seen it.
Anyway, one of the things I love too, Phil, and I know you're the biggest nerd of the group of the main seven. You got not one but two little Star Wars references in this one, because you get to tell Katma that she sounded like Yoda. But then I loved it when you're inside the flame and you're doing the Luke Skywalker and Empire Strikes Back. You're reaching out to grab the ring, and you see it start to shake, just like his lightsaber in the snow cave. I was like, oh, that's another Star Wars Easter egg. So you got two in this one.
That's
Oh,
great.
wow. I'm glad you read that one as a Star Wars. I got the Yoda one.
Yeah, my brain usually fits in Star Wars wherever I can. So, but no, it was cool. I mean, there's so many, and I loved the Flash's new enemy, the Landlady, which was a great. It was such a cool little scene. If we ever need a replacement for a Hawk Girl, we'll call you.
That was great. That was great. I mean, that was like a terrific, a terrific part. I mean, she made it her own. Do we know who voiced the landlady?
It says it was uncredited, but that was Kim also.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's great. Yeah, that's great.
Another thing of these episodes that I loved was Flash's food jokes, like in his talks with Kilowog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he didn't like whatever that fruit was they had on the planet. But yeah, because that's, again, when I think of Wally West, he was my Flash. I started reading comic books kind of after Crisis. And I remember Wally having to constantly eat to keep up his speed. So that was, again, a nice little nod to that era of the comic books.
Yeah, and they mention it, like his metabolism. He mentioned it, which I thought was sweet. And I love that dynamic, Kilowog and Flash. I mean, see you next Thursday.
Talking about their food.
Yeah.
Right, I love it.
Parts of the galaxy.
They were so sweet. So sweet. And I thought the music, just a shout out for the score, especially that last segment of the show. I thought the music was sensational. I just can't overstate how good the music is on the show, and it's as cinematic a score as anything I've seen. So yeah, just I'm so surprised always by how great it is. I shouldn't be at this point, but I'm always just like, wow, that is dynamite, just dynamite.
And ever since we've had 2/3 of dynamic music partners on the show with us, Chris and Michael joined us. I kind of watched at the end because each one of them got a different episode. And this was one of Lolita's episodes where she did the music for this one. So yeah, kudos to her.
Well, absolutely. Note to self, actually writing note to self, contact Lolita.
Yeah, we do need to get her on because we had the other two. We just need Lolita now to get all three of the dynamic music partners on.
Yeah, we really do.
Talk about it. So that was another thing I loved too. I think the comic book origin, obviously, for Desparo is much different than we see here. But they did lean into some of the stuff that we got throughout the run because, like every supervillain, the origin kind of changes as it goes through the comics and they retcon things. But I know I don't own a copy of Justice League of America #1 from 1960. But this is another one of those Gardner Fox, ideas that he was the writer who created this character. And the fact that we're still talking about him and that he made his, his appearance in this episode, he's still in the comic books, pops up here and there. I just love seeing that. So I liked this particular take on the character.
Yeah. Do this comic books use this device that we often get in the show, which is the flashback narration backstory? Do they do that right in the comic books? Yeah. So I love how that is transported into the show because so many episodes have it where you all of a sudden you're hearing a narration and you're watching the flashback, and it's for people like me who don't know a lot of the backstory, it's great. But it's such a cool device, and our show used it all the time.
Well, and they were able to do it. It's much easier to just have a box written by the editor on a comic book page.
Right. No, it's a lot. Yeah, for sure. James, do we want to check out the question? Any more questions for Phil? Because I know we had quite a few.
Definitely did. Let me go back here. We've got, I don't know why it keeps taking me off that page on Twitter. I'm going to have to talk with Mr. Musk about his platform. Let's see here. Okay, so going back to that question. So thank you to DCAU Resource for that question about Phil and Kat Matui. We have at Justin Ruby 94. Did Phil know a lot about the Green Lantern lore when he made it into this episode? No, I think Phil, we've addressed it before. You knew a lot about Green Lantern going into this.
Well, yeah, just because I read a lot of DC comics. Yes. So yes, I knew about Kat Matui and, all the, Lantern Corps characters, but this was a different approach to the story. Of Desparo.
And at Steely Dill, DYL, any other Green Lanterns you would have liked to have seen on storyboard and in the thing? Obviously, there's a lot to choose from, and we did get to see some other ones pop up. No spoilers as we go on through the series, but were there any that were kind of like favorites of yours when you were reading Green Lantern comics, Phil? That you would like, it'd been cool to see this one or that one?
No. I mean, but also in the cartoons, we're not involved in the, drafts of the scripts.
Right.
It's like, let me suggest this. But
yeah.
No. I mean, because there were so many Green Lanterns. It wasn't about picking any couple of favorites, But I much more trusted for the writers to pick which ones fit into the story best.
Yeah. I personally would have liked to see Nort show up, but that's just me. He's one of my favorite Green Lanterns, especially from the J.M. DeMatteis and Keith Giffen days of Justice League. Let's see. At Shira Holz, Holz, what was your favorite part of this particular 2-part episode, Phil?
Actually, I think, like I was saying before, my favorite part was the connection and seeing the beginning of John and Shira's relationship starting based on his old relationship.
Mhm.
That was fascinating.
It really was. It really was.
Yeah, and I do, to that point, I love how we see those little building blocks throughout each, a couple of episodes here and then a couple episodes here. We see that slow build to the John and Shira thing, which, again, I don't want to do spoilers in case people haven't seen this series in 21 years, since this particular episode aired 21 years ago, which seems impossible to believe. But if for those of you who haven't, we don't want to ruin it, because we're going to hopefully have Phil back for Star-Crossed if he's available. And that'll be the main thing we're building to. At _real, REEL world on Twitter wants to know, Despero is obviously a great villain. Phil, who is your favorite DC Comics bad guy?
Well, that's tough, because there's growing up and being a big Batman fan. And so my biggest villain is probably the Joker.
Mm.
But I don't know if that's just because of my, childhood growing up, or the fact that he later had Mark's voice.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got to see, I was just at Terrific Con in Uncasville, Connecticut. You both have been there. You know what I'm talking about. It's a great con that Mitch puts on. And I got to stand there for a good 15 minutes and just watch the master, Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, do a Joker sketch. And just watch him do it. I asked his handler, do you mind if I video part of this? But just watching him just take his time and sketch the Joker was, watching a master at work. It's like watching Van Gogh paint. It's amazing.
He is a master. He is a master. Couldn't be a bigger fan of his. He's so good. So good.
I haven't
Both of them. Both of them.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Because I like Mark too.
Of course. Susan, I don't know if we've ever asked you that question. Do you have a favorite, obviously with all the interactions now you've gained going through the DC animated universe as you have, do you have a favorite DC villain, Susan?
It's funny because when you asked Phil that, I thought, you can ask Phil that question because Phil knows all the DC villains. Whereas I only know the ones I've interacted with, like Cheetah, right? So, so Cheetah would be the one that first comes to mind because she's given me a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
But Phil has that better overview. I don't know that we get asked a lot, like, which superhero would you like to be if you couldn't be Wonder Woman? And then my head explodes. And, but I haven't been asked like my favorite villain, but it would probably be Cheetah, I would say, because she's the one who's messed with me the most, I think.
Yeah. Sticking
live action.
Yeah. That's Kristen Wiig. I enjoyed that performance, particularly Kristen Wiig as the Cheetah in Wonder Woman 2. There's a lot you could say about Wonder Woman 2, but there's also a lot there that I really enjoyed in that movie, especially as an 80s kid, since they set it in the 80s and Pedro Pascal's Maxwell Lord. But we'll go down a different rabbit hole. I'll try to put my blinders on here.
Okay.
At Matta, the number 2 Fatta, Fatta on Twitter. Phil LaMarr, we just heard that story, Phil, about you with Dennis Haysbert and how auditioning and what you think Phil needed to sound, or what you think John needed to sound like. But Matta wants to know, you read Green Lantern comics growing up, you read John Stewart. Did the voice you do in your head back then when you read it, does that sound different than the version we get now, and how much difference was there?
That's a great question.
Well, I mean, I don't think that I heard voices for my comics. I mean, did people, well, no, the Harry Potter movies were out at the same time as the books, so they heard those voices. No, there wasn't a particular voice. Well, also, in the comics, John Stewart didn't talk as much as he did in our show.
Yeah.
Good for you, though, that he did get to talk so much. And I have to say, though, Phil, don't you, because I get told quite a bit that when people read they'll come up to me when I read the comic, I hear your voice. So it's interesting to hear you say that when you read the comic, you didn't hear a specific voice. Because the fans today, when fans read Green Lantern or John Stewart, I'm sure they're hearing your voice and your version of John, not Dennis's. but your version. Yeah,
Well, that's because, most of the people who watch our show, that's our versions introduced them to
yes.
these characters.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think that I heard Adam West's voice reading Batman comics back in the old days, because it was completely different kinds of stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't, if you, when you're reading them in the 70s, those type of stories by like Steve Englehart and Marshall Rogers didn't really translate to an Adam West type of voice. A little bit darker.
Right.
One of the things I love too about this episode, it's just one of these things I kind of notice when I'm drawing, is when you first see Katma and she's in the high priestess outfit, and you hand her ring and say, you shouldn't leave this laying around. It looks like she puts it in a pocket. She's wearing 2 towels and a necklace. Where did the ring go? That's what I want to know. I was like, hold on a minute. That kind of was one of those little, that might be a Dan Reba question, like storyboard wise, where did you imagine she put the ring?
It's a Butch question.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Butch did that.
Right?
Yeah, Butch was the director on this one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'd have to ask him about that. Well, wait, are you seeing that bikini, that bronze bikini she was wearing? You seeing that as a Star Wars reference too, James?
A little bit. I almost went with Leia, but I was kind of like, well, so yeah, I'm not sure if this is Keith Dameron was the writer, so maybe he was a bit of a Star Wars fan. We'll have to ask Keith if we can get him on.
Yeah,
that would be 3.
Yeah, we have to track down Keith and Butch, because they are the missing. We have not been able to get them on the show yet, so we're trying. If anyone out there, we're trying.
Good luck.
Yeah.
But I know this was one of those episodes that I feel like because I had the DVDs when I was younger, and I'd come home and I'd want some noise in the background. I'd pop one of these DVDs and I'd watch episodes. As I'm watching this, I feel like this isn't one I revisited often. And now that I'm watching it, I don't know why, because it was such a great episode. It had the big cosmic star-spanning story, but it also had those very pivotal moments of character building that we talked about. And it fires on all cylinders, as a lot of these episodes do. And it's just, I'm wondering now, I'm like, why didn't I go back and watch this one more?
Well, I'm guessing that if you had all the DVDs and stuff, you would go back to the episodes that had all 7 of the League.
That's true.
More and more.
Injustice for All was one I constantly watched, because that's obviously all 7 of you. Plus we have, Mark, and we have Clancy, and, all the cast for the villains. So it was the big, and Secret Society, which we have coming up. That was another great one where I love the Jon Stewart and Bruce Wayne kind of butting heads on how to whip the League into fighting form and shape. It's a lot of great moments there between you and Kevin, obviously, when you were trying to best figure out how to get the League to work as a better unit.
Mm-hmm.
But so, yeah, a lot of great episodes. I'm so glad we're revisiting this. As we're kind of wrapping up here, I just want to see, was there any other takeaways from this one, Phil? It's holiday weekend, so I don't want to keep you too long, but just curious your overall thoughts on the episode, having coming back to revisit it, as Susan likes to say. Any overall thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, again, the biggest thing was that we had the same guest cast. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, guys, we're the Lantern Corps again. Hi, Renee. Yeah. It's amazing that I grew up watching you on TV.
Yep.
And now I get to work with you.
Yep.
Gosh.
Absolutely. R.I.P. R.I.P.
Yeah, I remember him from Benson. I used to watch that show all the time when I was little.
Yeah.
With it was such a, and then obviously to see him later on Deep Space Nine. I wish I would have had the chance to meet him. So cool.
He was in so many things back in the days.
So many things. And from my perspective, I know him best from Rhoda, because he did a recurring part on Rhoda, and I just loved him. That is the shrink who falls for Rhoda. And
he was in so many. He had so many parts. We had to learn how to pronounce his name.
That's so true.
Auberginois.
That's so true. Now, did we, before we let Phil go, because you're right, it is a holiday weekend, did we answer all did we touch on most of the questions? Because I don't want to leave people hanging.
Some of the questions were duplicates. So if you're wondering why my question didn't get asked, it's because someone asked yours just maybe an hour or two before yours. So I don't want to repeat the questions, obviously. So for those of you who feel slighted, don't feel slighted at all. Your question was just very similar to a person who got their question in first. We do appreciate every single one of you listening and sending in your questions on Twitter/X or whatever you're calling it now. We appreciate the interest in the show and in our guests like Phil. As we wrap it up, Phil, I know you're very busy because I looked on your website before I ever texted you to see if you're available. And my gosh, you've got some big cons coming up.
Yes. Heading to Edmonton Expo and New York Comic Con, and I think maybe one or two others. Oh, Grand Rapids.
Yeah, Grand Rapids.
And so people can find that on your website if they want to. If they okay,
LaMarr.com
okay,
lists up all of the traveling.
Yeah, because sometimes you don't know your dates offhand. But if anyone's curious as to where Phil will be, check out his website.
Yeah.
And his Instagram too, because I know that I love seeing your reels, Phil. When you're interacting with people at cons, you do some really great reels on your Instagram. So it's always very fun to see those.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you.
And I want to mention too, before we let everyone go, that if you're a fan of Susan and a fan of Phil's like I am, make sure you put May 23rd to the 25th on your calendar, because they're both going to be coming to the greater St. Louis, St. Charles area for Two Rivers Comic Con. You'll be able to see them there, along with fantastic artists and writers like Andy Parks, Phil Hester, Roy Thomas, Keith Williams, and some others that we'll be announcing soon. So make sure you stick around for that. And if you're local here in the Midwest, come say hello to Susan and Phil. It'll be great.
It will be.
Have Roy Thomas?
We're going to have Roy Thomas. Yes, he's our featured writer.
Woo! All right, well then, I got to bring my sketchbook.
Yes.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's great.
Because every once in a while, I hand it to a writer.
Oh yeah, Roy does some sketches. Roy will do his best to sketch out.
No,
some,
I say no. You just have to just sign it. But because it's a sketchbook, sometimes they draw something. Like Mark Waid drew a Superman, S.
Have you ever had Louise Simonson draw Superman flying?
No, I've never met Louise.
Because obviously Walt's a fantastic artist and Louise is usually known for writing, but she says, but I do draw Superman, and it's hysterical to watch her draw her Superman thing. So just a little tip, if you get to see Louise, make sure you ask her to draw her Superman. It's very funny.
Oh, that's great. All right. Well, Phil, thank you for doing this. Hopefully we'll see you back here, and I'll see you on the road, and just enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you.
And Susan, James, thank you both for helping us all revisit the Justice. It's so great to go back to this.
Oh, thank you, Phil.
Yeah, and we'll definitely be reaching out again soon. Like I said, there's some pivotal episodes coming up that we're going to need Phil LaMarr on for. So thank you so much, Phil. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye, Phil.
What a prince of a guy, Phil LaMarr. I mean,
total sweetheart. Yep.
Like we said at the beginning, he kind of came in and saved us because I reached out to him on Saturday. Today is Monday. And he said, I can record with you guys Monday. And this episode's going to drop in less than 12 hours, I think. So thank you, Phil.
We don't usually have that kind of turnaround. We usually have some time. And it's a holiday weekend.
Yes.
And he's got a lot going on. He's got a bunch of Comic-Cons coming up. So he could have just taken this weekend to chill and relax. But no, instead, he stepped up and stepped in when we needed him. So thank you, Phil LaMarr.
Yep.
For being a pal to us here at Justice League Revisited, if I may.
It helped that it was a Green Lantern episode. I think if this was like a Hawkgirl thing or a Flash episode, he'd been like, no, I'm out. Thank you. So
although he's such a comic guy that, he would he's in on all of it. I mean, it's so funny. I mean, I know I say this all the time, but he was like the only one of us who really knew what the stories, like where they originated from. And, an episode like this where it really delves into the Green Lantern Corps and all of that. I mean, it's, he knows all of it. And it was thrilling for him to see all the detail in this episode. And I loved it because as I said earlier, I hadn't seen it. So I know it's terrible, embarrassing, but it was so good. I love it. Yeah. I love it.
It was great. I do think that this was, like I said, I'm sure the first Green Lantern episode since we had in Blackest Night, where we saw the rest of the Corps and got to really dive into John's past, who trained him and everything like that. It was kind of like seeing Qui-Gon Jinn show up in an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie. Obviously, Phil is
Right.
Obi-Wan in this instance.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Sure. No, yes. But for me, if we could just get back to the soap opera romance element, I loved that. And that was so great. And it was fun to talk to him about it. And this was just just a great episode. And thank you, Phil LaMarr, for stepping in, like I said, and saving our tushies, because we really didn't want to do it out of order. It's so important for us to stay in order with everyone watching along with us. And I still can't believe we're deep into season 2.
I know we're already on the 9th and 10th stories for this season. And coming up next, obviously, as I already mentioned, the next episode you'll be listening to, if you're listening to these in order along with us, will be Stan Berkowitz. We're going to be covering the episode A Better World, which, whew, that's a big one.
That's a big one. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, so are you going to go relax now and enjoy your holiday weekend?
Yes, I'm going to go Grimlock. It's actually nice here in St. Louis. The weather is actually weirdly nice for the 1st of September. It's not abnormally hot. So Grimlock and I are going to take a little walk, stretch his little chihuahua legs, and get him out and enjoy the outdoors.
I love his little chihuahua legs. They're so great. All right. Well, I'll bid you adieu. And
that's enough of that language.
And so do we still give our socials? Are we still doing that? Are we still letting people? Because I feel like, do people want to hear every time that I'm on? It's so easy. Susan Eisenberg 1. It's so easy. I'm the same everywhere. And SusanEisenbergVoice.com.
Perfect. And
you're the one with the whole,
It's not that much. It's geektomeradio.com or at geektomeradio on Twitter and Instagram, facebook.com/geektomeradio, youtube.com/geektomeradio, bluesky.org. I'm kidding. No, that's gonna
it's not so much that you have so much, so many social handles. It's that you have so much going on. Yeah. You are a very busy man right now.
I'm starting to feel it too, because we got all the planning stuff for Comic-Con coming up. So yeah, if you missed it, we're doing Two Rivers Comic-Con over Memorial Day weekend of 2025. Susan and Phil will both be guests, along with some other people who will be mentioned soon. So keep tuning here. We'll mention that as we go. But I'm so excited because I know you'll get to meet Grimlock in person.
I know. Why do you think I said yes?
He'll be your booth attendant.
Oh gosh, I just love him. I love him, and I look forward to it. And I just am so proud of you. I hope that doesn't sound, too condescending, but I'm so proud of what you've created, because there wasn't anything there. There wasn't a Comic-Con in your region for a while now, and I think it was so upsetting for you as a fan, as somebody who travels the country, going to Comic-Cons, that you didn't have one on your home turf.
Yeah.
And so what did you do? But you went out and with the help of some people, you created one. And I think it's extraordinary. And I can't wait to attend.
Yeah.
And I know it's going to be a huge success. I just know it. I feel it in my bones.
Thank you. Yeah, we've already had a lot of interest from people, and we just launched the website recently. So it's already getting a groundswell. We've got our sponsors coming in. We've got vendors asking, when can we sign up and get a spot? So it'll be coming soon. We'll give you more information as it goes. You've got a lot going on too. So off on your travels. This is exciting.
Yeah. I'm going to be doing a road trip, heading east. And it's, I haven't done a road trip in quite some time. And the last one I did was, just, I think, doing the coast up to San Francisco. I think that's the extent of it. But this one's going to be a much broader one. It's going to be from here, California, to the East Coast. And I just remember Kevin doing it twice a year. He would do it because he had a pup like I do. And he couldn't fly with the pup. So he would, twice a year, to get to both of his homes, he would drive cross country, and he would post all these marvelous pictures of him along the way. So I'm going to be channeling my friend Kevin as I make this journey. Very cool. Yeah. So, but we'll be talking. I'll be on from the road, as it were. So we'll be in touch. But just keep me in your thoughts. It's going to be a long time.
I shall.
It's a long journey. Anyway, so everyone, just thank you for listening to this episode. And James, did you finish what you have going on? Like what you have upcoming?
Yeah,
You're good?
That's pretty much everything. Yeah.
Okay, well, it's enough, frankly. It's a lot. All right, so everyone, thank you. And just be safe on this holiday weekend. And we'll see you soon. Well, we'll talk to you soon. And until then, the conversation continues.